Turn number 2, is that the engine that's gone up? It is! Huge flames out the tail of the Mustang.
Trying for it around the outside.
Oh my
Wilson
goodness me!
That's a lot of damage on...
Very quick turnaround here at Winton Motor Raceway, as we can see New South Wales and Victorian sports sedans heading out onto the circuit with thanks to Advanced Car Carriers. Such a variety of machines, from the RX-7s that we just saw go through, and then you've got Greg Lynch's big banging V8. So we will talk you through the grid in a few moments. I'm Dan McCarthy. Alongside me, once again, as he was for the last race, is Phil Memory. Phil, sports sedans has been around for oh so many years, but great to see it as popular as ever.
Yeah, absolutely, and so many great sports sedans over the years. I remember being at Sandown, and the Camel filters, if I can mention that, Rover of Brian Thompson just brought the entire grandstand to its feet as a big challenge between Alan Moffat and some of the other guys that were down there. That was a super impressive event. But then I'm talking of quite a few years ago, Dan, probably before you were born.
Couple of marked cars on the front row of the grid. Jeff Taunton and Stephen Lacey will start from positions 1 and 2. A very, very fast and agile BMW from third. That is the Matt Sims E36. Darren Hossack, a former National Sports Sedan Series winner. He is back this year racing in the Victorian State Series, and he's got an RX-7, a bit different to what we're used to seeing him in. He will start out of 4th ahead of Graham Gilliland, and the number 3 machine of Michael Rowell in another Mark/Innovation race car. Greg Lynch out of 7th. He was racing in South Australia last weekend. He's made the trip just like me over here to Winton. He will start ahead of Munger, Aidan Munger in a Nissan Silvia. Sallard, and this car on the screen out of 10th, that's McLeod. Beyond that, we have John Ipolotto, Pro, the number 121 machine from New South Wales. That is a Toyota Supra. Then we have Koning, Cleland, Collins, Brown, Harwood, Jackson, and Davidson. And we're going around for a second formation lap. So one warm-up lap complete. Now we're going for a formation lap because we're going to have a rolling start.
Yeah, really interesting to... I've, on a couple of occasions, been lucky enough to be the safety car driver in rolling starts. And it's quite daunting when you've got a whole heap of V8s behind you, thundering and bellowing away, and you're there trying to control your own adrenaline. And the last thing you want to do is make it blue in the safety car as you're trying to clear the track. So great job by all of the people here that are doing the work at Winton Motor Raceway.
You say about a safety car, Blue MotoGP just a couple of weeks ago, the safety car had an accident at, I think, the Circuit of the Americas, so happens to the best of them.
Oh, it was all the tariffs, you see.
Let's not get into that. Let's move swiftly onwards to New South Wales and Victorian sports sedans racing. Those 2 innovation race cars at the front of the field. The green machine, Jeff Taunton, a familiar name to many, I'm sure, always competing in everything, whatever he can in his innovation race car, and he's always at the front as well. And alongside him, the New South Wales champion, Stephen Lacey. So he's certainly got the very best at the front of the field. Very interested to see what Hossack can do in the number 5 car. That RX-7 from 4th. This is just its second competitive race meeting. It did do the Malalar Historics not too long ago, but this is its second competitive race meeting. The first one was plagued by mechanical issues. There it is, the number 5 car. Hopefully, mechanically anyway, a much smoother weekend. I'm interested to see what it can do pace-wise.
Lovely flames out the exhaust there. As they come down the straight, all forming up to take this rolling start.
So Taunton, the green machine, Lacey, the red innovation race car. It's an innovation race cars 1-2, but who's going to win the drag race towards turn number 1? We're about to find out. The lights have gone green. Very, very, very equal jump on the front row of the grid. Taunton the later under brakes at turn 1. He wants to be the full car length ahead for the switchback, and he is. Around the outside, though, the RX-7 of Hossack has taken position number 3, and a good start as well from Greg Lynch. He's not only got past Roll, he's also up the inside of Graham Gilliland into turn number 3, and Gilliland, 2 wheels dropped off the side of the road, so Lynch takes that place. Gilliland able to keep it together and manages not to lose any further positions, although he's under immense pressure from Rowell as they go through the sweeper. He's got cars left and right lining up at the moment, and McLeod's moved up several places as well, including on the number 3 around the sweeper. They go and into turn 7. Good start there from the number 72, a perennial front runner in the Victorian Sports Sedans Championship. And great to see this mixture out there this weekend. It's almost a national quality field. There's such good numbers and good names as well.
Absolutely. Gilliland, they're getting those wheels out in the dirt. That was hindered his progress there for quite a bit, and seemed to block the traffic a little, but he's coming back.
Certainly is. Lights ablaze on the front of the Greg Lynch car. That isn't a V8 supercar. It might look like one. Very, very good tribute livery, that is for sure. But that is not an actual HRT car from the 90s. That is just a tribute livery. However, it goes as fast, if not faster, than the actual car did back in the 90s.
Yep, there's some really, really quick cars out there. Just see some of the cars go through down the front here. We've got BMW looking cars and Holden Commodores and RX-7s and all sorts of bits and pieces. The Mark sports cars, they're a really beautifully engineered car. You see a few of those out there with their various body styles.
Of course, in recent times, Mark Cars, now known as Innovation Race Cars, has its own one-make series as well, the Innovation Race Car series. But look at this, for third place, Hossack coming under pressure from Matthew Sims. 2 very different machines built in different parts of the world. But these are true sports sedans, aren't they?
They certainly are. Hossack pulls a bit of a gap as they head up the old back straight, turns it left, a little bit of a under rotation of that left front under the braking into that corner. Lights it up down the back straight and pulls a little bit more gap on the BMR.
In recent times, sports sedans, we've seen a lot of people just buy either ex-V8 supercars or innovation race cars, and that's what I was referring to, that these are old school sports sedans, very much just the body shells that's the same as the original car. Nothing else the same. I mean, look at the flames flicking out the side of the number 5 machine. This thing sounds absolutely glorious. Doesn't matter how it sounds so at the moment because it's being overtaken. Sims slots it up the inside, slides on through. Very nice pass up the inside. Made that look very, very easy. And a very, very well executed pass.
And good, pulls a good gap heading up into the sweeper. What can Hossack do in trying to make a comeback? I don't think he's going to have anything on it. Hossack's car looks to be a little bit sluggish in a couple of spots around the track.
Or Lynch going defensive on Gilliland, and it cranked sideways on him there as he flicked it around turn 6. This is where the little Mazda is going to come into its own. Where can he get through though? The problem is if he doesn't do it here, there's a bit of a straight and he's going to lose a lot of ground. Oh, he's got a good exit though, but I don't think it'll matter. Lynch will have the horsepower on the run. Oh, he had his nose chopped there. I'm not sure Lynch was quite aware just how alongside the RX-7 was there.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but look at that. He did the perfect. Made him brake too late. He's out-braked himself into that left-hander onto the extended track. Oh, we've got one stopped out on track.
That's Monga. That is Monga. Aidan Monga in the Nissan Silvia AMS Autosport machine. Yeah, that's right underneath the gum tree on the racing line. I can't think of a much worse position to be stationary, unfortunately. So we may see the deployment of the Hyundai safety car. We're about the halfway stage of the race at the moment. And out in front, Taunton leading the way by 7 seconds, but not for long because the safety car, as we expected, I don't think Motorsport Australia had any other option there but to call the safety car for that one.
No, it's just too dangerous where the car stopped on the track. Not good.
No, absolutely not.
At least it's not the highest speed corner, but you still wouldn't want to get tangled up in anything down there.
No, exactly right, particularly when a car is on the racing line. We've already lost a few already, as you can see. Roll, Salad and Jackson, all non-starters then in this one.
Yeah.
So down to 16. I did see, we saw, didn't we? We went down in the lane earlier on today. There are a couple of these sports sedans with engine changes going on and all sorts. So clearly a couple of cars not quite ready for this one after issues in qualifying earlier today. But the good news is, we said it earlier on today, this is the only race of the day for all of these categories. They do have overnight.
Overnight, they can look, Dave. If they worked overnight last night, they can do it again tonight.
Yes, exactly right. So hopefully we'll see those three machines back on the Winton Motor Raceway circuit tomorrow for a whole day's full of racing action on the screens of Blendline TV. With action kicking off bright and early. We've got the same categories as we have as well. Improved production under 2 litre, RX8 Cup, sports sedans and over 2 litre improved production. And as well on premium, Blendline TV Premium. If you go on the Blendline website, you can also watch production touring cars, Formula Ford and Formula Race cars as well on Blendline TV Premium. So lots of categories to sink your teeth into here at Winton this weekend. They call it the nation's action track, and we're very much delivering.
We are. Look, it's a great track to be at. Trackside, you can see 99% of the track from just about 99% of the track.
Yeah, you're right.
It's well, you go to a lot of the other tracks and you cannot see all of the track.
I made a point of this earlier. There's quite a few campers down there, which is really good to see. That's one of the great things about this venue. You can still camp here. Of course, many venues these days don't do camping, but here at Winton, they very much do. One of the oldest tracks in this country. Opened back in 1961, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, I think you're doing better than me. I can't remember the history of those sort of dates, but I used to be out at Barjag, which is a nearby place out of Benalla, and they moved from Barjag to here, and it's just grown on from there. Barry Stylo originally laid out the track sitting on a grader.
And he did a good job.
Then later on set lap records.
Yes, yeah.
In the faux pas, if I remember correctly. And that car's still getting around the faux pas, so it's a single-seater open wheeler with a 6-cylinder Holden high-power grey motor in the back of it.
Yeah. So this is round 2 of the New South Wales Sports Sedans Championship. Round 1 took place at Sydney Motorsport Park in late March. The round was taken out by Steve Lacey, so no surprise to see him towards the point end of the field. However, coming out of round 1 in second place was Jackson, who unfortunately has not made the start of this race. So that's pretty significant there. That he has not made the start on the Victorian side of things. This is round 3 of their series, having taken part in a couple already. So Paul Cena leading the way in that series, but not here this weekend. So that opens the door for the likes of Greg Lynch, John Opolotto and Ben McLeod as we have gone back racing.
Yeah.
Two marked cars leading the way. Taunton from Lacey, but Lacey has certainly pulled the margin on Sims and Hossack behind.
Yeah, great job, and good to see a nice clean restart there. Ooh, nice move there coming from 72, being McLeod, who's moved up. He was a bit further back there earlier on, I think.
Yes, he did. He qualified just outside the top 10, but he's comfortably inside now, isn't he, in 7th position, just behind one of his Victorian rivals, Greg Lynch. Similar machines, big V8 powered Holden Commodores, and that is why they are sharing the racetrack. In fact, there's a bit of a Holden train out there at the moment, because look, Ipolotto's there. So the three that I was saying that are going to benefit from the fact that Jim Policina's not here this weekend, and nose to tail on the racetrack, 6th through to 8th.
Absolutely, and a couple of the cars getting a little bit squirrely there around the old gum tree.
Oh, so much power underneath the right foot, isn't there? They've got to be so silky smooth on that throttle, particularly out of the hairpins. And Koenig, that is, I believe, is it joining the fight? No, it's Davidson. It's Davidson joining the fight in the Mazda RX-7.
Yeah, he had a good look down the inside there of 97, but wasn't able to go ahead with it. The Commodore, I think, had the big stick out at the end of the straight.
He's got Glenn Pro, a New South Welshman, directly behind. Glenn Pro won Division 2 in the New South Wales Sports Sedans last year, so a good front runner in the middle division. But here we go, up the inside comes Davidson. Oh, rear's locked. I think he thought that he was going to make contact with McLeod, and so did I then for a brief moment. He just about found the gap in between the two and made no contact with either, fortunately. But yeah, really slammed on the anchors there, and that's one of the lap cars, Harewood, going slowly.
Harewood, yeah.
So he's still out there.
Nissan.
Yeah, I saw him going slow under safety car conditions, so clearly some issue there, but he's going to try and bring it home and get some points. Of course, if you finish your inside the top 20, you do get points, so just finishing will yield him a good amount in this race. Around turn number 9, the final hairpin on the lap. Look at the acceleration from the 37 machine to draw alongside McLeod.
He's trying to do the under-over again. Can he do it? No, he's going to be a little bit too far back. And Lotto, sorry, in the, well, here comes the Mazda. Bang, down the outside, outbrake.
Oh, no, he's in too deep.
Outbraked himself. All that effort, no gain. Try for the under and over again down the front straight. Pulls to the inside. That's going to put him on the outside down into turn 1. Having a big go. Coming down in there. Locks the brakes. He's out in the dirt, but he's pulled it off. He's got it through. It's pretty big stuff down the outside into turn 1.
Good move, but he probably made it a little bit harder than he probably would have wanted to. It took him a few more corners, but he has got it done. And Harwood has come into the lane. That's a shame. But that car was certainly not running at full speed, was it? There's no doubt about that. All that fighting has allowed Greg Lynch to pull a little bit of a margin. Let's not forget he was fighting with Gilliland earlier on in the race, who's 4 seconds down the road now. So this big V8 battle has really fallen back in the closing stages of this race, and it is very much now the closing stages as we look to our race leader, Taunton, in the Mark Cars machine. He's out in front of this field as we begin what might be the final lap of the race. It's going to be tight with timing. We'll see if it's the penultimate or the last when they come around next. But he's got a 3-second lead. I think Lacey has had better speed in this segment of the race. He's certainly gone with Taunton better than he did at the start.
I think so. And yeah, I just am stunned at the presentation of these cars. They're just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that one in particular, the Real Dairy Australia machine that we're looking at on the screen, looks absolutely magnificent, doesn't it? Both of the Mark cars or Innovation Race cars look absolutely fantastic out there as they head around the tight, twisty section. The 3 consecutive hairpins. The number 95 machine, he's raced earlier in the year at Bathurst in sports sedans and as part of the 12-hour support coverage. He's raced pretty much everywhere in this country in this car, and wherever he is right towards the pointy end, and there's been no stopping him in this one.
No, none at all. And the car just sits so beautifully on the track. It seems to be an extremely well balanced car. Drives it really, really well.
Munga's come into the lane now as well in car so number 75. That's the Sylvia S15. Checkered flag is at the ready, and it waves for Jeff Taunton. A great drive from him. He gapped the New South Wales champion by the margin of 3 seconds in the end, but further back, Glenn Pro has closed onto the tail of this big thundering V8 fight. But can he find a way through? I think probably not. It's not the sort of section of the track that car is favourable compared to the V8s. It's the fast section. So I think he might have to settle for 10th position. But look out for him in the next one. Again, somebody showing good speed against the Victorian contingency just ahead. It is Davidson from Lynch, McLeod, Ipolotto and Pro, all of them separated by just 3 seconds. And who's this slow on the back straight? It's another of the RX-7s. Yeah. It's number 92. It's Koenig. It's Koenig who was just in 11th position and looks set to finish in P11. But no, a drama late on in this race sees him fall behind Cleland right at the death. So he steals position number 11 in the 333 Mark cars, the Generation 1 Mark car, the Mazda 3 bodied machine. Beyond that, we have Brown in the Mitsubishi, car number 18, and Collins, number 87, the Mazda RX-7. So many RX-7s.
Yeah, we've got a lot of the Wankel-powered vehicles here this weekend.
Certainly do. Great drive, great race. The New South Wales and Victorian Sports Sedan State of Origin, with thanks to Advanced Car Carriers. Cracking race, that one. Looking forward to seeing them for 2 more editions here, hopefully on a sunny day. It looks scheduled to be very, very sunny here at Winton Motor Raceway. Jeff Taunton taking the victory in the end by 3 seconds from the New South Wales champ, Steve Lacey. Sims coming home in third, ahead of Darren Hossack and Graham Gilliland. We're going to take a quick break in commentary and action all around at Winton Motor Raceway today. Action on the skid pan and action on the racetrack once again as New South Wales and Victorian sports sedans head out onto the racing circuit. It's a category that's been around for so many years, but these modern machines are at the front of the field, the innovation race cars. I'm Dan McCarthy. Alongside me once again is Phil Memory. Phil, it's a category loved in this country.
It is, absolutely. Sports sedans, thundering sports sedans. We always loved them years and years ago, and we still do. Just noticing one of the BMWs there down into turn 1. He was warming the tyres and almost swapped ends. So he was certainly trying to warm those tyres. Some absolutely amazing cars going out here, and they are going to provide us with lots and lots of entertainment as they go around, Dan.
I think that was the white BMW, wasn't it?
It was a white BMW, a white Bavarian money waster.
So that's Matt Sims, who finished the race yesterday in position number 3. So there he is on the screen right now. So,
yeah, we're waiting for him to do it again.
So Jeff Taunton will start from position number 1. I think it's ironic. We've been talking all weekend, Victoria versus New South Wales. This is the state of origin. However, it's being led by a Queenslander. So
how appropriate.
Yeah, the Queenslander's just getting in the mix as well. So he won the race yesterday. He is competing in the Victorian series, I believe, this weekend. So anyway, nevertheless, he starts from pole position. Jeff Taunton, alongside him will be Stephen Lacey, the leader of the New South Wales Championship. He will come out of second place in another innovation race car. The white BMW that we've already seen a fair bit of on this lap. Matt Sims, another New South Welshman, out of position number 4. Darren Hossack will start from 5th place. From 4th place. Darren Hossack, former National Series champion. He's recently built up this new Mazda RX-7. It's one of its first race weekends. It's out there in this race in position number 4, the first of the Victorians, and he is ahead of the number 5 Mazda RX-7 of Graham Gilliland. Beyond that, we have Jeremy Davidson, Greg Lynch, Ben McLeod and John Ipolotto. Those three, Lynch, McLeod and Ipolotto, had a great race yesterday. Glenn Pro will come out at 10th, the New South Welshman, ahead of Warren Cleland, Paul Koenig, Darren Brown, Tegan Collins, and then yesterday's non-finishers were Aidan Monger in the Nissan Silvia S15 and another of our New South Wales visitors across the border, James Harwood, in another Nissan, an R32 GTR. So lots of talking points yesterday, but the runaway winner by 3 seconds wins Taunton at the front of the field. The question today is, can Stephen Lacey go with him? Those two pulled away from the rest of the field yesterday. Darren Hossack, as I said, he's new to the RX-7, but a Sports Sedans veteran out of position number 4 in the Hossack Motorsport Services machine. He qualified a little bit further back. He qualified in around there, sorry. He was running higher in race number 1 than where he finished. However, he lost second gear early on in the race, and that's why he dropped back towards the closing stages. So gearbox has been fixed overnight, so look out for the red RX-7 on the second row of the grid.
Absolutely, and I'm just noticing that the cars are really well strung out. I'm a bit concerned that they may not get a start this time around. Lights are still on the safety car as they're gridding up, heading down the back straight.
Final.
They've all closed up.
Yes.
They've managed to pull it off, and so we will get a rolling start. No standing start in this race.
It should be a absolute cracker then. Jeff Taunton in the green machine, Lacey in the red one. That's how you differentiate between the two of them. Then we've got Sims in the BMW and Hossack in the RX-7. On row number 7, we can see the lights. When that goes out, we will be racing in the State of Origin Sports Sedans affair. Great start from Graham Gilliland.
Yeah.
He pulls straight out and tries to move up the inside into turn 1, but he doesn't quite have the straight line speed to do so. Taunton takes up the running at the front from pole position. Notably though, Hossack has got past, big damage problem for Lacey down towards turn number 2. Is that the engine that's gone up? It is. Huge flames out the tail of the Mustang. He's got the brake lights on. The engine has given way spectacularly, and there is oil all over the racing line on the run to turn number 3.
And he's still on the track. Needs to try and get that car off the track because he is laying down oil all the way.
We've gone yellow flag safety car immediately with that one. We don't want to see these guys come around and spear off the race. We can smell it. The engine has gone boom in front of us, and the smoke is wafting into the commentary box. But what a shame for the New South Wales Championship leader. I can already safely say that car won't be out for the race later on today.
Well, we don't know what they've got hidden away down in the pits. They might, magic spanners.
That was a big engine failure. You don't see them like that
big.
too
Here
much
we go
anymore.
On TV, on our replay, we can see the smoke just billowing out as he comes up the start-finish straight, and masses, and then the flames start as he goes around turn 3. Flames are out again, heads it on down into 4. He's keeping out off the racing line as best he can, but that car is laying down a lot of oil as it went around the track.
That was huge. That's a real shame for car number 1. We took the fight to our race leader Taunton early in the race yesterday. Taunton ended up taking the win by 3 seconds, but that is a real shame. What I was trying to say as that happened was Hossack has got past the BMW into what at the time was 3rd and very quickly became 2nd. So the RX-7 of Hossack, representing Victoria, has moved past the New South Welshman of Sims as the crew put the kicker litter down on the exit of turn number 2, all the way up to turn 3 and around to turn number 4. It's a big oil trail.
It certainly is. That was spectacular to say the least. And I guess only the engine builders will find out exactly what happened there. That was massive.
Yeah, certainly was. Greg Lynch has made a really good start as well in the HSV machine. It's not actually a Holden Racing Team car from the years gone by. That's just a replica livery. But he's jumped up from 7th position up to position number 4. So very good start from him. He was able to go around the outside of the fast starting Graham Gilliland at turn number 1 and take that position. Ipolotto and McLeod have also moved up a couple of positions. Davison in the number 37 was the loser as well on the opening lap. He's lost 3 places down to 8th place, just ahead of Jackson and Pro. So a couple more New South Welshmen at the tail of the top 10. The number 26 machine of Chris Jackson, he himself had an engine issue on Friday, so he got that done for Saturday's racing yesterday, finished inside the top 10. So not the only person, but that is sports sedans racing, isn't it? They are reliant on the engines, and they push them to the absolute limits.
Yeah, back in the day, it used to be fairly common just about going by an old, well, maybe not even an old Formula 5000 and stick a car, something that looked like a car body on top of it. And we all knew that the Formula 5000s were maybe not necessarily that reliable.
There's a bit of a different approach now, isn't there?
It is.
There's a lot of people that go down the Taunton route of buying a completed car already, an innovation race car or a V8 supercar even, we've seen with the likes of Francois Habib in the Victorian series, and then just making alterations and making it that bit faster.
Yep.
However, the likes of Hossack, Sims and Gilliland, they've gone down the more old-fashioned approach of buying a car, basically ripping it all apart and keeping just the shell and making it into a proper race car. Yeah,
well, of course, you've got the tube frame style, and you've got the chassis or the floor plan style of sports sedans these days. So if you keep the original floor plan of the car, that's slightly different. And some of the cars have a tubular frame chassis, which is the mark sports cars.
Absolutely. You can see the great job that the recovery team are doing, the cleanup operation well underway, doing a great job. Got to thank our volunteer marshals and officials. And of course, we've got to thank Advanced Car Carriers.
Absolutely.
Without them, we wouldn't be watching this sports sedan competition. They're jumping on as a sponsor this weekend of the live stream for the State of Origin, Victoria versus New South Wales, and what a field it is.
Certainly is, Dan, and just looking at some of the cars, I know we shouldn't do it, we're commentating off screen, but I'm sort of tended to looking out the window here a little bit at some of the glorious machines trundling past our commentary position. As we say, all sorts of vehicles there, from modern Mustang-style cars back through to RX-7s and BMWs that are a little bit older, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So the order, let's talk you through it then. As I say, Taunton from Hossack, Sims and Lynch. Good variety of Victorians and New South Welshmen up at the pointy end of the field. However, 4th through to 7th, that is a Victorian area. And then beyond that, 8th to 10th, and even 11th position, they are all New South Wales. So a bit of groups of states there a little bit further back. The recovery continues and time is ticking away. A bit of a truncated sort of middle section of the day we've had. There was a red flag in improved production just before, and now a lengthy safety car period due to that big engine failure. Yeah,
it was unfortunate when those sort of things happen at the beginning of the race. There's no rhyme or reason. It just happens to be that way sometimes. And of course, we do run on time-limited events here this weekend.
Yeah, we certainly do. We got to say though, we'd rather them take their time and do the job properly. We don't want to send the cars out there when there's still oil out there on the racetrack. They have to do this properly, or else more cars will be significantly damaged.
100%. And a big thank you to all of the guys and girls out there that are the track marshals doing the hard work at the moment of cleaning up that track. And of course, that's another way into motorsport. If you don't feel that driving or working on the cars themselves is for you, it might be something that you consider taking up, being one of these wonderful marshals that do so much to bring or keep motorsport going.
As well as the clean-up operation, which appears to have been completed. They're still trying to recover the Steve Lacey car on the little short chute between turns 4 and 5. So that's just gone onto the tilt track now. We can see out the commentary box window. So again, that looks like that's close to being completed as well. So we should get maybe a couple of laps in the books very late in this race. So a truncated affair, but we should get some green flag running in, which is great news.
Yeah, although I have sort of noted that they seem to be having a little bit of difficulty with securing the car on the back of that tilt tray at the moment. It's been in that position for a little while, and they seem to be having just a little bit of difficulty in getting it locked down. I'm not too sure exactly what's going on, but they are working at clearing the track, and as I say, big thank you to all of those officials that do so. We've also got, of course, we've got a lot of timing officials. We've got stewards of the meeting, clerks, of course, and all sorts of people out there. So big thank you to each and every one of them that put in such a big effort. And it's a huge responsibility.
It certainly is, and they've done a very good job. Even the safety car driver that I see was just driving around on the cement dust to try and sweep a little bit of it away. Let's talk a bit about the championships then. As you say, it's a combined round. Who are the front runners? Who are the championship contenders? So they've had 2 rounds in Victoria, just the sole round so far in New South Wales. The Victorian Championship leader, Jim Policina, is not here this weekend. So that has opened the door to Greg Lynch, John Opolotto and Ben McLeod, who are very, very tight on points, 2nd through 4th. And they are very tight on the racetrack as well. They had a great battle yesterday. Lynch is up to 4th, Opolotto 6th, and McLeod in 7th. So look out for them. They're on the screen now, just going through in front of us. The 3 Commodores there going by. So look out for those machines. On the New South Wales side of things, Stephen Lacey was and still is at this point the championship leader in the New South Wales running. However, Chris Jackson is his closest championship rival, and he is not too far away. As we say, he had problems on Friday and has been playing catch-up since then. He's inside the top 10, so look out for him to move forward and take advantage of Lacey not being on the circuit. As you point out, Phil, safety car lights are out. We are set for a restart with 2.5 minutes left to go. Around the final corner comes Taunton. Hossack hot on his heels as we go back racing towards turn number 1 for the 4th time of asking. Down they go, looking at Greg Lynch. He's got Gilliland not too far behind him. Oh, that's a big lose.
Wow,
dear me.
Oh, that was a spectacular lose, and everybody to the left of me or everybody to the right of me, I'll try and duck through the gap.
Yeah, that was Davidson, so he locked the rears going in, slid out wide, and then he went back across the racetrack, didn't he? Spinning to the inside of the circuit. That's Glenn Pro that you've just spied running off as well on the back section of the circuit. On the cement dust, they're all taking a compromise line around the first few corners not to be on the cement dust, and it's really scattered the field as a result. Taunton still leads the way from Hussack. There's Glenn Pro trying to recover from his off-track excursion. The 1-2-1 machine has now fallen into the clutches of Koenig. So he's only lost 1 position to Chris Jackson. Quite lucky considering.
Absolutely, and he will be trying to power away again as I see there's dust coming up in the background. I'm not sure where from.
Graham Gilliland's going a bit slowly, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's unusual for him, what's going on there. Has he had a bit of a moment just trying to recover and get the car going again?
Or maybe it's just that much down on speed compared to these big thundering Holdens. Looks a bit better now on the exit of that corner. Here's a replay of what happened at turn 1. Look for Davidson up the inside of McLeod. Took to the inside curb, but that unsettled the car. He slid across the racetrack and spun around. It's on for second. Hossack forced to defend from Sims, but look, none of them want to go on the dirty cement dust on the typical racing
They're
line.
all keeping well away from that dirty stuff. It's a little bit slippery out there yet as the BMW goes out wide around the sweeper, comes back through the dog leg, drops it down into tank. Too far back to be able to do it. A bit of smoke coming from 5. Not sure whether that was tyre smoke or
you're right.
or something a little more.
Oh, and Sims gets all sideways. You're right. Hossack's car has definitely got a bit of smoke, but only at certain times.
Yeah, it could be just a tyre rub, a little bit of panel work, perhaps not quite where it should be.
I think it's under load around the left hand as it is, so I think you're right. I think it might be tyre rubbing on the right rear. Good pick up there, Phil. I think you're bang on the money. So I think that's all it is.
It'd be rare.
Sims putting the pressure on. He's not able to find a way by at this point in time, and he doesn't have long. If he wants to make his way by, he's going to have to do it, and do it quickly, because the last lap board is out. Great straight line speed from Sims. That's this car's strength. Up the inside. Even before they got to the braking zone.
Yeah, he was able to just put it down the inside and went, well, yeah, I think I can go a lot deeper than you under brakes, and he did quite successfully. Drops it down into 3, powers on out of there, keeping off that.
Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't keep off the cement dust at all.
Oh,
huge slides.
They're going to come up here and sack me. They'll punch my nose.
Slid off the road. A good save, though. Crikey.
Here I was about to say, keeping off the oil, and he puts his wheels straight on it.
Quick Hen Sims, we got to call him after that save.
Dear.
That was fantastic, but he won't be pleased about losing that position. But I saw a couple of other people have slides through there as well. One of them was Chris Jackson the lap prior. So it is incredibly treacherous at turns 3 and 4. So everybody has to be careful out there on the race circuit. Despite the cement dust going down, it is still incredibly tricky. Out in front, though, Taunton has not had too many dramas since the restart. He's pulled a huge margin from those two fighting behind, and he's going to take another victory. Two from two for him in the Advanced Car Carriers sponsored race.
Brilliant
he takes
drive.
the victory.
That was a really, really good drive. Just drove away from the front. Was able to keep everybody else under control. Didn't have to work too hard. Kept it off the slippery oil. Here we go. BMW down onto the slippery stuff, and tail comes out. He did really, really well to hold that. Yeah, there's quite a shiny spot of track between 3 and 4, and that's certainly not the place to be. As
car still coming across the line, Glenn Pro just behind Jackson. That was the fight for 8th position, and Munger rounding out the top 10. We look a little bit further back to Cleveland in the first original spec Mark car, the Mark Mazda 3. He will come across the line in 13th, losing late on to Davidson, who, of course, was recovering from that huge spin at turn number 1 on the restart. So Davidson, actually, despite falling to the back of the field, recovered well in just 3 laps to finish in position 12.
Yeah, that was a good drive in the end. It was an unfortunate, unforced error to a certain extent that put him back, but managed to recover back to 12th position.
And Brown rounds out the 15 finishers in that one. Harwood, unfortunately, a non-starter. Lacey did start, so the man who finished second yesterday had a huge engine failure at the start of that race. So that was a certainly spectacular race in not all the reasons that we want, but out in front. Taunton taking the win in the end by 11.9 seconds. Hossack reclaiming second as Slims slid off the road on the oil, left by Lacey on the final lap. Lynch came home in 4th position, just 3/10 ahead of Graham Gilliland. McLeod in 6th, Ipolotto 7th, Jackson Pro and Monga rounding out the top 10 positions in that race. Thanks very much to Phil Memory for joining me for that one.
I do think that that Lacey engine blow-up will make the Blendline TV highlights reel.
I think you are correct there for sure. Up next on Blendline TV Premium, make sure you head over to the Blendline TV website and log into Premium to watch production touring cars and Formula race cars. But if you're watching on the live free stream, tune back in at 12:45 local time. Stay with us, keep it on your channels, and racing will resume at 12:45 local time. Improved production under 2 litre, followed by RX8 Cup, as well as over 2 litre improved production, and what we just saw as well, the Sports Sedans, Victorian and New South Wales State of Origin. I'm Dan McCarthy. We'll be back on the other side of this. We're back on the screens of Blendline TV. With thanks to Advanced Car Carriers, it's the combined New South Wales and Victorian Sports Sedans. It's around for both of the state series here at Winton Motor Raceway, as part of what they are calling the State of Origin. And rightfully so. It's been a great battle between the two states all weekend long. It's been dominated, though, so far by a Queenslander. However, he is flying the flag for New South Wales.
He's wearing his New South Wales shirt, so that's a good boy. And he's doing a pretty good job, one might have to say.
I'm Dan McCarthy. The voice you would have just heard there was Phil Memory. And Phil, we've been building up. This has been a great category all weekend long. We've got a New South Welshman and a Victorian on the front row of the grid for this one.
Well, it was a fiery race, our previous one, quite literally, with an engine blow up and unfortunately lots and lots of that fluid, slippery stuff on some of the track. And thank you very much for a car carrier to carry that dead car away. But we are back and the track is in great nick now.
It certainly
as they make their way around to the start.
Yeah, it was oil all over the track. Everyone was slipping and sliding away, as Paul Simon would say. And there's quite a bit of pollen around, isn't there, today? Certainly if you got hay fever, it's not the place to be. But other than that, it is magnificent weather.
Well, I'll just touch my own head because I tend to suffer with hay fever. So touching my head is like touching wood. So far, I haven't got hay fever this weekend.
Oh, there you go. That is good news. But yes, with thanks to Advanced Car Carriers, we're able to bring you this event, and it's emblazoned on all the windscreens of the cars this weekend. Let's talk you through the grid then for this one. Jeff Taunton will start from pole position in the Innovation race car. He'll start alongside Darren Hossack in the RX7, a former National Series winner. Sims will come out of third in the BMW E36. That is Matthew Sims. Beyond that, we have a few Victorian front runners. We've got Greg Lynch in fourth, Graham Gilliland in fifth. Then we have Ben McLeod and John Ipolotto. Then we've got a couple of New South Welshmen to round out the top 10. Ninth place will be Chris Jackson and 10th Glenn Pro. Beyond that, Aidan Munger, Paul Koenig, Jeremy Davidson, Warren Cleland, Tegan Collins, Darden Brown, and the non-finisher in the last race, that huge fire, Stephen Lacey, unfortunately not making it for the start of this race. No surprise there at all.
No, although, you know, we just didn't know what sort of magic spanners they might have had in the pits for being able to re-engine that car. But
came out of turn 2 on the opening lap, didn't need all, looked fine, and by the time he got to turn 3, there was a huge fire out the back of the Innovation race car, but really costly because he is the championship leader in the New South Wales Sports Sedan Series.
Yeah, rapid engine disassembly, I think, was the root cause of that, and unfortunately that's put him out. But they've all starting to shimmy up into their grid positions for this rolling start. Safety car has been departed to home. He will be heading out and off the track.
So who is going to get the jump? The flame-flicking RX-7 of Darren Hossack, or is it going to be Jeff Taunton on the green in the green marked car. Well, we are about to find out. Lights are red. When they go out, we will be underway, and they will roar towards turn number 1. Away we go. Great start from Taunton, and a good start as well from Sims. He's going to try and fling up the inside of Hossack into turn 1, but isn't able to do so. Lynch leaves lots of room on the outside in 4th. McLeod using all the curb and a bit more on the inside as Sims looks on Hossack once again. Not able to slide by there. And look, Lynch is holding up Graham Gilliland, Ipolotto, and as well Chris Jackson. And Jackson has actually got Ipolotto on the exit of the corner. A good start from the New South Welshman in car 26.
Just streets ahead. He's just powered away from the get-go, really. Hossack doing a great job, and certainly no slouch in the sports sedan. He's got lots and lots of experience. What can he do as the race rolls down? Slightest bit of a mistake from the leader, and he will be right there. I am sure of that.
These two have had a bit of a ding-dong all weekend, haven't they? The RX-7, the green. Oh no, Hossack is slow out of turn number 10.
Curse.
Up the inside goes Graham Gilliland. In the meantime, Lynch, if he can hold it on the outside, will have the poke in a straight line to retake that place. But wow, what a shame for Darren Hossack. Being the best of the Victorian representatives, has come to a stop on the, just out of turn number 10, he's coming to a stop. But Graham Gilliland continues to attract Greg Lynch as they come across the line to complete lap number 1. Lynch has pulled away in the straight line as I expected. Sector 1 and Sector 3 very strong for Lynch. Sector 2 very strong for Gilliland. But there is the driveless machine of Darren Hossack. He had a few mechanical issues at round 1 with that car. He didn't take part in round number 2. He actually went over to Malala and did the historics over there, and it performed pretty well. However, this weekend looked pretty promising. That had pace and it had reliability until this very moment.
Yeah, well, I spoke about him being a man of ready to pounce, and unfortunately the Gremlins pounced instead.
Yeah, the others able to pounce on him as a result of the mechanical failure. A New South Wales and Victorian fighting here. It's Victorian Ipolotto ahead of Glenn Pro, the New South Welshman. Glenn Pro won the Division B class in sports sedans last year, so he certainly knows how to get the best out of his machinery. Not in the outright class, but in a slightly smaller engine class. He was the man to beat last year.
Okay, and as they head down the back straight, Big Commodore able to gain a few extra metres, but that gets closed up under brakes. Around the hook at the end and back onto the start-finish straight they come. Power goes down and the Commodore will gain a few metres again.
The roar from that RX-7 as it went past was absolutely sensational, wasn't it? That sounded awesome. There it goes again. All the different sights and sounds. That's why we love sports sedan racing.
Wow, absolutely. Well, we just love motor racing, don't we? Period. Oh, 92 pointed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, 92.
Turns it around.
That's Paul Koenig in the RX-7. He was in and around the top 10 all weekend long, but that's going to drop him to the very tail of the field. Lynch forced to defend. He had a little bit of a margin last time we saw him.
Screen.
Now he's got the RX-7 all over him, but we continue to look at Pro. No, they've come together.
Oh, they have.
Oh, dearie me, I was just saying how they were closing back together, and Gilliland's got some front right damage, and Lynch has gone around. Oh, dearie me, that is quite a significant punch in the front of that car.
It might be just superficial. It looks like a lot of fiberglass in the front there, or maybe carbon fiber, I'm not sure. But hopefully it hasn't done any detrimental structural damage on the car, and he's able to continue.
So Lynch and Gilliland fighting for third, and it comes unstuck. And speaking of coming unstuck, McLeod up the inside of New South Welshman Pro. There's contact mid-corner, and Pro as a result gets pushed out onto the grass on the outside.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was really good. He was, I guess he was well up the inside.
Oh no, Gilliland has had to come in. That is a rotten bit of luck. It's been a really good weekend for Graham Gilliland, but it has come to an early end. Well, maybe if they can work some body panels a little bit, he might be able to get back out there again, but that's a real shame anyway that he's had to bring it in at this point in time. Lynch has rejoined the track, albeit down in 8th, so 3rd and 4th become 8th and a pit lane repair job effectively. Here comes
down
Pro
inside. Beautiful
responding.
move.
So these two were the ones that collided at turn 11 on the last lap. And
trying for it around the outside.
Oh my
Wilson
goodness me!
That's a lot of damage on...
that was so close to going over. I thought that was going for a moment, but managed to keep it back on the 4 wheels. But look at the huge damage to Pro as well. There's McLeod. I think the significant landing there has damaged the racing
Commodore
car. Yeah, and Pro has got significant bodywork damage and probably a fair bit of tow out as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, possibly, but I think it's the damage appears to be more superficial at this point. He seems to be able to turn the car okay.
Certainly the bodywork is rubbing on the tyres. Let's get a replay of that. So McLeod went around the outside and the two interlocked mid-corner just now. Pro locked up right at the last second. You could see the wheel stopped rotating. He made contact with McLeod, who was flung into the air like an aeroplane at turn number 8. That was spectacular, but frightening at the same time.
And the Commodore is pulled out. He'll be emptying out some things from in the car. There might be a little bit of human dirt inside there.
Oh dearie me. That is such a shame for both of those runners. Pro has continued to circulate at this point in time. And now John Opolotto is going slowly. Oh no, more car damage, car damage. This one is 37 now of Davidson. Opolotto's got back up to speed again. Goodness gracious me, what is happening? What did they have for lunch, Phil? They've lost the plot.
Perhaps they didn't have lunch or breakfast or something. I don't know. What did they put in their coffee?
I don't know what it was, but I don't think they should have it again. Unfortunately, we've seen far too much damage. It's been really fair, good, clean racing between the New South Wales competitors and the Victorian competitors. However, the good battle has become a war in the final race.
It has, unfortunately, and I don't think any of the damage has been brought on intentionally. I think it's just pure bad luck.
Unfortunately, we started this race with 15 cars, and we are down to just 9 still circulating, or 10, sorry, there is the number 18 of Brown as well. So it's been such an attritional affair, and I'm not sure whether he's... No, that car doesn't sound right either. I think he's obviously letting the leaders through, but Brown's car's not running on song either.
No.
I gotta say, I'm quite impressed by the speed that Pro's able to produce here, despite the significant damage on the right front. The good news is, I don't think that the bodywork's rubbing on that tyre as much as it once was.
Well, yes, yet to be seen whether it that right front survives the rest of the race. Well, the heaviest load that it's going to come under is around the sweeper, which he got through there quite okay.
I've got to make a... oh, actually, you can see the witness marks from the Gilliland contact. So you can see exactly in around the 22, exactly where Gilliland has made contact with Lynch early on in the race. So he can piece together exactly what has happened down there at
He can. He'll be able to go and get him to sign it later on after the race.
I have to say, big props to car number 75, the Sylvia driver Munger. He'd been in and around the top 10 all weekend, however, has stayed completely out of trouble in this race, set his PB lap on the last lap, and as a result is in 5th position outright, legitimately. Then all he's done really is just stay out of trouble, out of harm's way.
Yeah, and well done, because there's been plenty of trouble out there this race.
Including Koenig, who's about to be lapped by our race leader, Jeff Taunton, who knows absolutely nothing about the action that we have seen. He gets past both of those machines down into turn number 11. But this is the battle for 8th place between Cleland and Koenig. As we say, Koenig recovering from his spin earlier on, and he will take that position, or will he? No, the Mark Mazda has a bit more poke in a straight line and reclaims that place, but there's contact, I think, nearly into turn number 1. Mighty close anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of Morse code maybe.
Out of the turn they come. They lap the number 18 machine once again. That is Darden Brown in the old school Mitsubishi, the Bendigo Specialist brake and clutch sponsored car. Bendigo just down the road, Phil, only a bit over an hour and a half.
Oh no, it's about around about 2 hours, I think, from here.
I came through that way from South Australia to get here through Bendigo, through Shepparton.
Yeah, you must have been speeding.
I don't remember the exact time, Phil. I really don't.
No, it's a long way from Adelaide.
It certainly is, but it's been well worth the trip for this race alone, to be quite frank. It's been a really exciting race, but not for all the right reasons. We have seen a bit too much contact for my liking. Good racing room left there. Maybe a little bit too much, running a bit wide there, Cleland.
Yeah, for sure, but drops it down into the left-hander and hooks it left.
Indeed, he does. Onto the short little shoot towards turn number 11. The Mark Mazda is certainly faster in a straight line, but the 92 of Paul Koenig, the Victorian in the RX-7, is certainly stronger around the bends.
Yep, and looks to the inside, which is going to put him on the outside into turn 1. No, not going to be able to pull it off there unless he can do a late braking move. That's not going to happen. Those the little Mazda 3, very, very quick car.
Here they come towards turn 3. This is where the RX-7 comes into its own around this section of the course. The middle sector, the technical tight middle sector, he's having a bit of a look. Yeah, that's not really an overtaking opportunity, is it? You need to be fully alongside after getting a good run out of 3.
Yeah, you've got to really worry the person on the outside that, I've got to just give this up, otherwise he's going to drive into me. And he certainly wasn't there for that.
So out in front by a margin of 35.6 seconds is Jeff Taunton ahead of Sims. So, a lot of drama in this one, and that has created this huge gap that we're seeing. Then 25 seconds back to Jackson. Let's not forget, Jackson, one of the front runners in the New South Wales Series, started this race from 10th. It's been a challenging weekend for him to this point, but while his title rival Lacey hasn't even started this race with the big engine failure, he has come strong late in the weekend. Yeah,
it's it helps if you just keep persisting.
So our race leader has now lapped up to 5th. So from 6th backwards has been lapped. Oh, sorry, Greg Lynch is still on the lead lap as well. So from 7th backwards has now been lapped. And we still continue to focus on this thrilling fight for position number 8. Both Japanese-built machines, both Mazdas, but one effectively is just a body shell, whereas the other one, well, to be fair, they're both effectively body shells, but built very, very differently.
And look how beautiful this car is on our screen. Car 95, Titan coming around onto the start-finish. I think, no, I've got it wrong. He's on the back straight. Hooks it to the left and onto the extended part of Winton Raceway.
Well, you can't say Jeff Taunton isn't a deserved winner of the Victorian and New South Wales Sports Sedans this weekend. The state of origin has certainly turned on the action this weekend, hasn't it?
100%.
Goes around the final corner. Checkered flag is waving. The Queenslander, representing New South Wales, takes the win in the State of Origin Sports Sedans affair, and did so comfortably. Incredible race victory for him in the final. Just 10 laps, and he's won by 40 seconds. 4 seconds a lap.
Yeah, that's that's huge. That is huge.
Here we go. I was just seeing that these two have closed up on each other. It's Ipolotto and Munger fighting for position number 4. Will the Sylvia sling one up the inside at turn 7? No. The Sylvia is very strong in this section of the track, though. This nimble, tight, technical section is where the Sylvia certainly has the strength over the Commodore, but he's got to do it soon because now Ipolotto is into his strength area. The big straights, the V8 comes into its own here, but the light Sylvia is better under brakes, and Ipolotto finds that he feels he needs to pull a defensive move down there. Into the final couple of corners again, Ipolotto pulls out a big margin. I don't think there's a need to go defensive into turn number 11.
No,
he doesn't need to, so he should bring it to the line now, unless he makes a big unforced error at the final bend. He certainly slowed it up a little bit, but he'll put the foot to the floor, and he will hold on to finish in 4th position ahead of Munger and Lynch, who closed in late as well. All three of them separated by a smidge over a second in the end. And that is all 6 cars that finished on the lead lap, incredibly. Taunton from Sims, Jackson with a great recovery drive to 3rd, Ipolotto, Munger and Lynch we just saw across the line. Glenn Pro finished in 7th, 1 lap down ahead of the Mark Mazda of Cleveland, the RX-7 of Koenig. And then we had the 2 other finishers as well. Collins in number 87, and the car on the screen in front of us, Brown, that was limping throughout that race. Wow, that was certainly entertaining, not for all the right reasons.
Yeah, there was a little of action there that good to watch, but expensive for some of the guys that are on the receiving end of that action.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be some cars that need to be repaired before the representative next rounds of their series. So fortunately, though, they do have a little bit of time to make those repairs. That concludes, though, a thrilling weekend in New South Wales and Victorian sports sedans. The state of origin very much delivered, and I hope to see it, Phil, back on the schedule next year.